their blood, their pain, all for us. Everybody, it's Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm coming at you today to give you my review for Hulu's Hellraiser that just came out on Friday on Hulu only, which I wasn't a huge fan of because I would have totally gone and seen this in a theater, and I really think it deserved to be seen in a theater, but I digress. I'm here today because I wanted to give this a second watch before I did my proper review. There's a couple reasons for that. One, as you guys know, I mean, just from the intros of my videos with the quote of "we have such sights to show you," this is one of my favorite horror franchises. And then recently I went back and rewatched all of them again, and it just kind of reinvigorated that for me and reaffirmed it for me. So I really wanted to have a clear mind. I wanted to be able to concisely put together what I had to say about this movie, and I really wanted to be able to digest everything. After having watched it the first time, what would a second watch gift me? What would it do for me? And also, I saw some people that were kind of let down by this movie, and I wanted to see if my initial reaction of this movie being great was kind of just the hype, or if I was lying to myself a little bit. I'm here to say no, I wasn't. I do think this movie is great. So Hellraiser 2022 tells the story of a girl named Riley who is a recovering drug addict who is dating a recovering drug addict that comes across the lament configuration, the puzzle box. And because she's struggling for money, she's trying to get money quick, she thinks maybe selling this could give her some money, when in reality she never gets to that point. She starts messing with the box. Well, the box obviously summons the Cenobites, and as you guys know from the previous Hellraiser movies, mainly the first two, at a certain point you can get an audience with Leviathan. Well, the guy that initially had the box before it got into Riley's hands, his name is Roland Voigt. And the movie starts off with him getting an audience with Leviathan, and we have no idea what happened to him after that. So 6 years later, now she has the box, and she starts the events in motion. And as people start to go missing and things start to happen and the box starts to change shape, she breaks into Roland's mansion and finds all of his notes about the lament configuration and all the configurations there are. There are 6 configurations, and once you finally get to the Leviathan configuration, you get an audience with Leviathan and can request a gift, as they call it. We'll get to that later. But in order to move from stage to stage, a person has to solve whatever stage the box is on. Once they solve that stage, a blade comes out, cuts their hand, and then they are marked. The Cenobites come for them, and it moves on to the next configuration. And that has to happen 6 times for it to move on to the final Leviathan configuration, where you get an audience with Leviathan. That's really the story of the movie. It's very, very simple like that. I'll get into spoilers a little bit later, so if you guys haven't seen it, don't worry, you can keep watching. I will warn you when we get into spoilers. First and foremost, gotta say, I love what they did with the lament configuration. All of the configurations with the box and the mechanisms of it, I thought looked really smooth, looked really clean. It looked very bulky, very heavy duty. I really liked the box, and I liked expanding the lore more with all of these steps and finding out what each step means and then what it represents for the person that eventually gets to the Leviathan configuration. I also really enjoyed the acting in this movie. I think that everybody across the board is at least solid, with a few standout performances. And I'm kind of hot and cold on the lead, Riley, because on one hand, Riley is not a super sympathetic character because she is kind of whiny and she is kind of mischievous and she seems to kind of not be able to get out of her own way. But at the same time, she is sympathetic in the sense that you want to see her pull herself out of this and you don't want to see her fail. And she gives a really, really good performance. So it's not that she's poorly acting. It's just like you're very conflicted on your lead, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We've got to talk about Jamie Clayton as Pinhead. And the Cenobites as a whole, really. I think that the Cenobite designs are awesome. One, because doing this with all practical effects, which is normally what they do in these movies, I love that they kept it that way. And I think that the Cenobites in this movie, there is something about them to where their Cenobite design is almost created because of portions of skin that are pulled apart. So if you look closely, and I really noticed it the second time I watched, and you're looking at these Cenobites, you're really seeing that a lot of what you're seeing is stretched skin. It is not added components that weren't already there. It's skin stretched to make them not look human anymore. And I think that's really cool. So the Chatterer is great as always, and you actually get to see the Chatterer do some action in this movie, which was cool. You get a new Cenobite called the Mask. You get a few new ones, but the Mask I think is the standout just because that design is super cool. Like, it is freaky looking. It's like ghostly. But overall, I like the Cenobites. I had no complaints with the Cenobites. Jamie Clayton as Pinhead. How I know that Jamie did a good job in the role is I walked away from this movie feeling the exact same way I did after seeing Hellraiser 87 for the first time, which is I wanted more Pinhead. That is good and bad. Bad because selfishly, yeah, I want to see this actor in both of these movies, whether it's Doug Bradley or Jamie Clayton, give us more because I was enthralled by what I saw. And that's what the good is. I was enthralled by what I saw, and I was begging to see more. So I really want to see a sequel to this because I really, really, really would love to see her back in the role because I think Jamie is great in this role. I mean, absolutely great. And I think the design, especially when you get into looking at the back of the design, the back of the neck, really looking around the design as a whole and not just the head with the pins, I really think it is pretty grotesque and almost like alien in nature, which is really cool. It is a way to differentiate from Doug Bradley's design, and I really, really dig that. But yeah, Jamie Clayton, she did phenomenally. There's a few great lines that she gets in the movie, but overall, there's a lot of facial acting done by Clayton that I just really, really enjoyed. Whether it's when she's behind the bars talking to Roland, smiling like, oh, this is all for us, basically. Like, there's just a lot to the character, a lot of nuance there. No complaints whatsoever. I think that she's a great Pinhead for this generation. Again, like I said, a lot of the acting, the special effects as a whole. I mean, as a whole, whether it's the chain action, anytime the chains come out and grab someone or pull someone apart, it's super, super good. Like, it looks so well done. Really, really appreciated that because we have seen some Hellraiser movies where the chain action specifically looked pretty weak. Deader, I'm looking at you. But, yes, I digress. It looked awesome. The score by Ben Lovett is absolutely fantastic. It is a perfect blend of Christopher Young's old with some very elegant new. It's almost like highbrow when you listen to it. It's like something you could see playing at a dinner party on a piano while everyone's smoking cigars and drinking wine. Like, there's just so much in this score. It is really just beautiful in one word, if I had to give it one word. So Ben Lovett's score is amazing. I have listened to it front to back like 3 times now. Download it, check it out. Because sometimes in the movie, I feel like with what's going on, it kind of gets drowned out a little bit at times. But if you listen to it by itself, it truly is a work of art. I love, love, love the score. The settings, the sound design, the set design, it's awesome. Hellraiser had some money behind it. And with having some money behind it, they were able to give us a movie that looks like a movie. You know, part of the charm of Hellraiser and Hellbound specifically are that they did look lower budget. There was this grimy kind of feel and look to them, which kind of has earned the place for them in horror history because of that look and that vibe and that feel. But there's nothing wrong with 35 years later having some money and being able to finally invest it in a property that so sorely deserves to have some money invested into it. So it was a great way to differentiate the takes while also showing love and dedication to wanting to make the best movie possible for the modern era. So I loved it. It's not a complaint of mine. I have seen some people kind of complain about that. I just feel like I can never get behind that because, if anything, it's a crime when a great property isn't believed in and doesn't get the backing it deserves. Anytime it does happen, I applaud them for that. And it looks like the money was well spent because everything looks good. Cinematography, it's beautiful. If I was going to go into some cons with this movie, guys, it's really just one thing. I just wanted more Pinhead. I wanted more Pinhead. I wanted more. I wanted more. And that's not really a con. I guess that's the point. But shit, yeah, that's my really only, my only real gripe, I think. Yeah, that's about it. Now I'm going to get into spoilers really quick. So if you guys haven't seen it or, you have seen it or whatever it may be, if you don't want spoilers, click off now. And really, I'm just going to go into one thing. So the way this movie ends, we find out that Roland was behind this whole thing again, getting Riley and getting Trevor to get Riley to fuck with the box, so then he could eventually get back to the Leviathan stage and summon Leviathan again, and get this mechanism that is in his chest. They put this device in his chest that like pulls on his nerves, and like just when he is getting used to one nerve that they're fucking with, they move to the next one. So he's constantly in pain. So yes, he got the gift of sensation, but the gift of sensation is the sensation of pain. So it's their fucked up way of being like, yeah, you'll get a gift, sure. And it's not really a gift. Go figure. Cenobites fucking with you? No way, right? But Roland is behind it all. It gets to the Leviathan configuration again, and he talks to Pinhead face to face and says, I don't want this anymore. And Pinhead's like, well, you don't get to just give up gifts. You can only go further into it. So Pinhead's like, you know what? I think you want power. So you get this great sequence where it all falls out of his chest, and you get to watch his chest and his back like morph back together. It's fucking awesome, the effects. Like, it looks so good. And he's just like, ah, yes, sweet victory. I can finally breathe again. And as soon as that happens, the giant ass chain comes down from Leviathan right into his chest. And Pinhead gives the great line of, we have such sights to show you, as he ascends into Leviathan. It, is what it looks like. And then you get this great transformation scene of him at the end. Very religious iconography and very Christ-like. Almost looks like a crucifixion, where it looks like he's almost getting turned into a Cenobite. The reason I wanted to get into spoilers with this at the very end of the video is because the way I take this, and from what I've read, is one, David Bruckner already said he wants to do multiple sequels. He wants this to kickstart Hellraiser again. So I think that this ending was basically Roland was gifted power to essentially now be the new vehicle for Leviathan. Almost like Dr. Chenard was in Hellbound. That's how I took that. It's like, okay, you can't go back on your gift. You can only go further. So we're going to give you power so you can have that power of Leviathan and be the vehicle that Leviathan moves through. But it's not really a gift at the end of the day, because he's essentially a Cenobite that's, yeah, whatever, but you guys get it. So I think it's setting up a sequel. I think it's setting up this world building. And at the end here, this whole climax, when you get a look at the labyrinth, I fucking love how this movie brings the labyrinth into the real world when anyone fucks with the box. I dig that so much. The labyrinth is a part of the world, and it's amazing. Like, looks seamless. It's just fantastic. But you're really getting a lot of Hellbound vibes at the end of this movie. Leviathan, the labyrinth, Dr. Chenard kind of throwback. I think that's what this movie's setting up. I think this movie is setting up a sequel that will go really into this world, the Cenobites world, and the lore there, and what possibilities are there. And I'm all for it, because Hellbound is my favorite movie, and I think going into the labyrinth with a big budget, holy shit, this could look amazing. So, not like anybody that is a part of this movie is going to see this review. If they do, please comment down below. That would be fucking amazing. I loved your movie. I really, really, really want to see a sequel. So I guess the way I'm going to round this out is, guys, I would give Hellraiser 2022 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is not perfect. It's close to it for me. And I just mean, like, if I don't have a bunch to complain about, if I don't have things that I can go, you know what, I didn't like this, then how can I not give it a great rating? It's just a really, really damn good movie. It is a really damn good movie that expands upon the lore, that builds for what is to come. And I'm all for it. I cannot wait. I really, really hope it continues. I hope you guys have been watching it. I hope you watch it more than once. I hope anybody that hasn't watched it, that has been hesitant to watch it, please go watch it. I want Hulu to get the idea that we want another Hellraiser film. So that is my review on Hellraiser 2022. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about Hellraiser 2022. And again, don't be a dick in the comments at all. Because, I know there's going to be someone. And I'm just going to remove the comment, or I'm going to dunk on you and make you look like a fucking clown. So just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Not worth your time. Not worth mine. If you got nothing nice to say, just don't say anything at all. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on this video. And this is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I am pulling out.